happen at lunch, and then on through dinner and tomorrow in section 109. And we just pointed a light to 109 and to those two handsome gentlemen right under 109. Why don't you wave for us, fellas? Yeah, that's you. Ah, excellent. Excellent job. All right. And with that, dear delegates, it is a real pleasure to introduce you to a dear friend of mine, and I think America's most respected college admissions coach. Let's give it up for Dr. Deborah Baddour.
Good afternoon, Congress, and a big shout out to all of our alumni. I am so impressed by each and every one of you. You know, it's a joy for me, having spent my entire career working to elevate students just like you and help them achieve their college goals, to stand in front of you intelligent, focused, and passionate young people and share advice that I know is going to give you an edge in college admissions. Do you know what it means to be seated in these seats? It means that you are the young intellect on whom our world will rely, the future of science and medicine. You are the students college admissions officers will be looking at very closely. You are young scholars with grit and character who have picked up the challenge to work hard, achieve, and get yourself to this place of inspiration and impact. It's not luck that got you here. It's character, intellect, and engagement. You know what Thomas Jefferson said about luck? He said, I'm a great believer in luck, and I find that the harder I work, the more I have of it. So we're going to work very hard today to increase your luck in the college admissions process. And let me start by suggesting that half of what you think you know about getting into college is wrong. But if you listen to and act on everything we talk about today, you will elevate the level of school to which you are admitted. So, first some facts. Some schools are harder to get into than others. Fact of life. Why is that? Supply and demand. More students want to attend than the school can accommodate. But why is there such tremendous demand? Because people know that not all colleges are created equal, and some schools provide greater rewards for attending than others. So, some schools will encourage their most successful alumni to hire only graduates from their alma mater. And you'll hear rallying cries on campus like Penn hire Penn, Princeton hire Princeton, Stanford hire Stanford. Other schools will work very hard to assemble the most phenomenal class of future leaders in medicine, engineering, the arts, and politics. And those students will spend the next 4 years making friends, swearing loyalties, brainstorming new startups, and networking for future careers. These are the realities. And what wonderful realities they are for those students attending those schools. Now, you might think you shouldn't even bother applying to the top tier or Ivy League because you don't have the highest GPA in your class or the highest SAT or ACT scores in your class. Or you might think there's not enough leadership or impact on your resume to help differentiate you from the 35,000, 42,000, or 51,000 other applicants to your schools of choice. Indeed, it is a singular event in your life, this getting into the best fit college, and you have to do it right. Be careful who you listen to, please, and vet your information sources. Well-meaning people will give you advice based on hearsay and speculation. Information you get off the internet often comes with an agenda. College admissions officers always paint their schools in the best possible light, even if it's not the best possible school for you. And high school guidance counselors are often overworked and spread too thin and lack exposure to and perspective on the best possible intellectual programs for you. And friends admitted to one school form biases toward that school and against others that might be the best possible school for you. All in all, you have to be very savvy and strategic these days to get what you want out of the college admissions process. And we're going to be very strategic now as we debunk 4 common college myths. Myth number 1. If I don't have a 4.0, I'll never get into my top college. Incorrect. Thousands of valedictorians are rejected from our nation's most eminent universities every year. Why is that? Because our top colleges don't just want to take the most extraordinary students, they want to make the most extraordinary class. College admissions is holistic. Admissions cares very much about your authentic journey through high school. How have you invested in yourself that makes you interesting enough for them to invest in you? Just having top scores, top GPAs, and a couple of in-school leadership opportunities is no longer going to get you into our nation's top schools. It's just not happening. So, the keys to admission for 2020, 21, 22, and 23 are impact and engagement. How have you made things better? How have you pushed through boundaries? Through your intellectual pursuits outside of school, your science research, your internships and externships, your travel adventures and talent development, your building of apps or businesses or founding of organizations. How have you engaged and how have you made impact? And the way you answer those questions on your college application tells us something about your leadership chops. Now, most students think leadership means leading around a group of students in your school, like heading up a fundraiser or heading up a club. But that is not the way admissions at the top tier views leadership today. Admissions defines leadership as aspiring to be inspirational, aspiring to be inspirational. And how do you become that inspirational leader? By becoming an extrapreneur. Please remember that word. I'm going to use it a lot. When that 3 o'clock bell rings, get out of the walls of your high school. Find something that fascinates you, and you will become fascinating. Let me give you an example of the kind of engagement Top Tier Admissions is looking for from you today. I had a student whose name is Laura. And Laura was quite sure she wanted to be pre-med in college. So she did everything you'd expect in high school. She took AP Bio, AP Chem, AP Physics, worked really hard and got all A's. Is that engagement? No, not yet. That's being a great student. Laura wanted to learn as much as she could about cutting-edge research in different fields of medicine, but she couldn't learn all that she wanted to because there was no science research department at her high school. But that didn't stop her. Laura created a science speaker series in her town. She gathered all her science enthusiast friends and gave them each titles and jobs they were thrilled to have, because now they had something impressive to put on their college resumes. Laura invited speakers from nearby medical centers and universities. The executive board wrote blogs and press releases, giving those speakers and their respective institutions tremendous press. The speaker series was held on Thursday nights, the library was packed to capacity, and the tables were overflowing with goodies, compliments of the PTA. Yes, even the PTA got involved because they could see the ROI, return on investment, such a science speaker series would give their kids. Now I ask you, is that engagement? You bet. Did Laura get into every school to which she applied? You bet, because being a leader in high school today means thinking like an extrapreneur. Now, you all know what an entrepreneur is. That's someone who builds an endeavor or business and puts in considerable investment and takes considerable risk. That's an important definition for you to know because you are moving into an entrepreneurial world. Then there's the intrapreneur. That's the person who works within the safe confines of the business or endeavor and keeps it humming. So an intrapreneur in high school might be editor-in-chief of the school newspaper or head of the yearbook, both wonderful and worthwhile leadership opportunities, but not exactly what admissions at the top tier is looking for today. Admissions doesn't want any more editors-in-chief. They have thousands of editors-in-chief. Admissions wants you, with your intellects, going out there and starting the process of solving problems of global health and industry. In business, we call those people entrepreneurs. In high school, I call them extrapreneurs. The kids with stars in their eyes who won't take no for an answer even though they're teens. They weigh the possibility of success versus failure and they jump anyway. They're the innovators. They want to see what'll happen if. Sound familiar? They leave school at the end of the day and they look for engagement in new and interesting places. They try, fail, rebuild, succeed, and then write about why they took that journey. Don't be afraid that you're getting a late start. I know we have lots of rising seniors here today. An extrapreneur can be born at any moment, and admissions knows it. Look, we all awaken at different times in our lives. You could be first day on the job, in the middle of a summer course, or doing your bench research, and someone says something or something happens that just blows your mind and changes your perspective, and you say, wow, that's what I want to pursue for the rest of the summer, or that's what I want to pursue for the rest of next year, or that's what I want to pursue for the rest of my life. Well then, what are you waiting for? Jump in and start pursuing. Try, fail, rebuild, succeed, and then write about why you took that journey on your college application. Not only will you be learning something about your authentic self, but you'll be creating a powerful personal narrative for college. Let me give you an example of how one of my late bloomer students caught the attention of his dream school with a tech project that had a charitable component. This is the story of Jonathan's Derby. Jonathan was a first-class tinkerer. He built robotic toys for his cats to chase and took apart waffle irons and toaster ovens and put the components back together in new and interesting ways. But somehow Jonathan knew there had to be more to life than that. And thank goodness for his college applications, because they gave him just the kick he needed to do something impactful. So, Jonathan planned on studying engineering at a top East Coast engineering school, so he'd really have to differentiate himself. But how? Well, Jonathan loved soapbox car racing. And in fact, soapbox car racing was a popular activity in his hilly neighborhood. It's an impressive thing, a winning soapbox car relying only on gravity to run. But it's even more impressive when that car races to fund a pet visitation program at the local children's hospital. Aha! Jonathan would create an engineering project for social good. He'd organize a derby. So, he gathered all his engineering enthusiast friends and got them to promise to build soapbox cars and get their friends and families to donate by sponsoring those cars in the race. A few months later, 6 snazzy-looking soapbox cars had been built using standardized wheels and precision ball bearings. The competitors began their descent from a ramp atop the highest hill in the neighborhood, and those cars reached up to 35 miles per hour in speed, but that was not the coolest part. The coolest part was that Jonathan's Derby raised $5,600 for that pet visitation program. And 2 weeks later, Jonathan and his friends walked into the children's hospital to see the realization of his vision. There in the playroom were 2 golden retrievers, 2 St. Bernards, 2 Bernese mountain dogs, and a beagle, surrounded by 7 children in desperate need of a little fluffy distraction and some love. Now, that's the way to use your college application to find out what you're made of for life. Don't be afraid that you're getting a late start. It's a big world, and everything you do for good matters. And at the same time, will show admissions a little bit of your extrapreneurial talent. Myth number 2. I can write a generic why I want to go to this school essay and just cut and paste the names of all the colleges right into it. Incorrect. Every year, some student mistakenly pastes the name of the wrong college into his why essay and winds up saying why he loves Duke when he's writing to Columbia. Deadly, deadly. Admissions won't even read the rest of your application. It'll be through the shredder. And who can blame them? They don't want to know why you love every school. They want to know why you love their school. But there is a strategic formula for writing a winning why essay, and I'm going to give it to you right now. So it's a great time to take out pens and notebooks. Ready? Drill down into the website of your school of choice. Find 2 courses that fascinate you and write what interests you about them, how they connect to your future major, and how they connect to your past academic interests in high school. Then, find a professor whose research intrigues you, read a journal article by that professor, and make some thoughtful comments. Then explain that's why you want to study with that professor or one day intern with him or her. Then find a couple of extracurriculars you'd like to be a member of or perhaps one day lead and say why. Next, come up with a project, preferably one with which you've had a thread of interest and passion since high school, like a science speaker series, and explain how you'd like to bring that project to campus, further develop it under the nurturing guidance of faculty and classmates, and one day leave it as your legacy upon graduation. Oh, admissions will love that because it shows you're already thinking about giving back. But before you even sit down to write that why essay, craft a few emails with some thoughtful questions and send them out to professors and department chair people at colleges you care about. Why? So you can use their names in your why essay. So you might say something like this: after corresponding with Professor Smith, I learned about internship opportunities that align perfectly with my goals. Or after speaking with Professor Jones, I learned how nurturing and accessible the faculty is at X University. You get the idea. Myth number 3, if I don't get financial aid via FAFSA, I'll never get major funding for college. Incorrect. If you've got the grade scores and entrepreneurial talent, you've got the chance. Let me tell you about a few merit scholarships you can win while you're still in high school. First, the National AXA Achievement Scholarship. You apply in the fall of senior year. It is given to some of the nation's top young minds and entrepreneurial talents. If you win, it's $25,000 for your college education. And if your project has a healthcare component, it gives your scholarship application an extra boost. Next, Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation. Again, you apply in the fall of senior year. Again, it's given to some of the nation's top young minds and entrepreneurial talents. If you win, it's $20,000 for your college education, but that's not all. Coca-Cola Scholars has the uncanny knack of truly finding the greatest young minds and leaders graduating high school each year. So if you even semi-finalist in the Coca-Cola Scholarship early on in senior year, admissions will flag your application for acceptance. I know because some of my students win this every year, and it completely changes their admissions experience. Next, Intel International Science and Engineering Fair, the largest pre-college international science competition where students vie for thousands of dollars in prizes based on their research. If you've always wanted to do science research, then please, when you get back to school in the fall, walk into your high school and say, "Here I am, sign me up, how do I start?" If you don't have a science research department at your school, please don't be concerned. I'm here to give you many opportunities during Congress, and this is one of them. Call this number, that's our office, and we will connect you to our Director of Science Research, who just happens to be an Intel ISEF affiliated judge. And if you choose to work with him, he will take you from beginning to end in the research process. From the brainstorming of your research project, through a science literature review, through the creation and editing of your science research paper, through to submission into the major fairs and competitions. Boom, done. So I hope many of you take me up on this. In addition, as Richard mentioned earlier, you have the extraordinary opportunity to receive your certification in advanced science research writing under the auspices of some of the greatest scientists in the world, our Nobel Prize winners. For the first time in history, Nobel laureates are certifying dedicated high school STEM students in advanced science research writing through the Laureate Certification, a 10-week online course. One module comes into your inbox each week. You can either take the module weekly or stockpile all the course modules and take them over a couple of school breaks or over the summer, completely at your own pace, completely on your own schedule. At the end of each module, there's a quiz. At the end of all the modules, there's a final. It is an eminently doable final. And when you pass that final, you will receive your beautiful certificate with your name and signed by a Nobel Prize winner in physiology or medicine. In addition, you'll receive a PDF image of that certificate that gets appended to your resume and uploaded into the additional information section of the Common Application, so that if admissions wants to verify that you have in fact received the laureate certification, and they surely will after this year's college admissions scandal, all they have to do is click on it, and there it is, your certificate, your name, and the signature of the Nobel Prize winner in physiology or medicine. This is the second admission season in which we've had graduates of the laureate certification. And I am so pleased to tell you that admissions at the top tier and Ivy League is thoroughly impressed by the certification and has voted with their acceptances. So, it's not just my perspective, but the perspective of top-tier and Ivy League admissions that the laureate certification in advanced science research writing is one of the most important things to happen to high school STEM education in many, many years. If you'd like to sign up for the laureate certification, you can do so today or tomorrow, right upstairs at section 109, where the banner says Advanced Science Research Writing Course. And I am thrilled to tell you that when you sign up today or tomorrow only at this Congress, you will receive 1/3 off tuition. So I hope many, many of you are able to take advantage of this historic and extraordinary academic opportunity. Okay, moving on to myth number 4. I'm just applying to college. I don't need a resume. Incorrect. In fact, to get an advantage, you need a multimedia resume. And the name of that resume is Resumotive. Resumotive takes all of your media from high school, your audio, your video, your photos, your PDF links of research papers, and creates a totally custom visual presentation of your high school career. All of my students use Resumotive. The top tier and Ivy League love it, and I'll tell you why. You're an admissions officer, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've just read 70 applications. And yours is number 71. How much time do you think they're going to give your paper resume? 8 seconds. That's it. But when they see a link to a Resumotive, they click on it, sit back and watch your entire high school career successes and achievements open up before their eyes. It is the only chance admissions gets to meet you one-on-one and hear your why. It is a powerful thing. And if the admissions scandal of 2019 has taught us anything, it's that all facts become known. So you can't just say you founded an organization or that you dance, sing, play violin, or do science research. You have to prove it through a gallery of photos, video, and research. Your accomplishments, your achievements, must become the face of your application. Let me say that again. Your achievements must now become the face of your application. Now, you can get Resumotive at any time online at www.resumotive.com. But when you go upstairs today or tomorrow to pick up your various admissions tools, you will be able to pick up Resumotive at 20% off the regular price. So, since Resumotive can only help your college application, I hope none of you leave Congress without it. Okay, now we're going to zip through the lightning round, the Just Do It section. So it's a great time to take out pens and notebooks. Again, we're going to go very quickly. Ready? Do complete your common application personal statement, resume, honors and activities forms in July, so that on August 1st, when the supplements open up, you can hit the ground running and get 3 to 4 applications completed by the end of August. That's the way to walk into senior year with all those APs and less stress. Do clean up your Facebook and all social media. Don't overshare. Parents, can we talk? Last year, 40% of admissions officers uncovered information that negatively affected an applicant's chance of admission. 40%. And Harvard's Dean of Admissions has noted, quote, our officers may have occasion to encounter an applicant's digital footprint, which could be negative if it raises serious questions about character or judgment, unquote. They may see your Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, that could go poorly for you. That's all I need to hear. Just scour every inch of your social media or get off it for senior year. Do credentialize yourself by taking advanced online courses through Johns Hopkins University or Stanford University online, or taking summer courses at top tier or Ivy League universities, working really hard, getting an A, and sending that transcript along with your college applications to the colleges you care about. Showing them, of course I'll do well at your school, I've already done well at a school just like yours. Or by engaging in science research, or by building apps if that's your thing. or by receiving advanced certifications in fields you care about. Put those credentials to work in your life, not just on your resume. Do contact your regional admissions officer every month or two after you submit your application to let them know what you're up to. Why? Because they want a reason to accept you, because they have to see that you're not falling prey to senior slump and that you're continuing to scale up your intellectual and extrapreneurial pursuits. So your note might go something like this. Dear admissions officer, I wanted to share some exciting news with you. I have just won X award, or I have just completed my research on, title of research, reason you're pursuing it, or I have just received my certification in advanced science research writing. Any and all of the above would be phenomenal updates to admissions. Do click on every informative email that comes into you from a college you care about. Hover on the site for a few minutes so that your view can be registered with the sender. Do attend any casual meeting with an admissions officer at your school or in your hometown. Wait till the end of that meeting, go down front and ask a thoughtful question. Then hand them a business card with your name, your future major, any organization or business you've founded, and your email in the bottom right-hand corner. Why? So they'll remember you. Does it matter? Yes, it matters. This is the age of big data, and colleges are collecting your demonstrated interest. So, every time you click, every time you sign your name to a list, every time you take a college tour, every time you write a thank you to the tour guide, every time you call admissions with a question, every time you write to admissions with an update, they are following you and your demonstrated interest. Well, we have just done a mad dash through some of the vitals of college admissions, and I hope it's helped. But mostly, I hope you remember that you are embarking on an excellent adventure that begins in high school. High school is not some pit stop on the way to real school. High school is an open all-night laboratory in which you can begin creating yourself. How much fuller will your college career be after spending some of the time out of the box and out of the walls of your high school? How much more interesting will you be as a person? How much more empowered will you feel when it's time to decide what will be my academic, social, and dream laboratory for the next 4 years? So, be the most extraordinary student you can be and the wildest dreamer of dreams. Then leave school behind at the bell and start the adventure of finding your authentic self, not just for college, but for life. You won't believe what you can do. Go get it.
Awesome!